everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be starting a brand new project. It's something I'm going to do sporadically throughout the year and potentially going forward. We are going to be reading books that I have already DNF'd or not liked in the past and see if it was just the circumstances around when I read it. And generally these are going to be books that I keep hearing really good things about, kind of shoved at me by people that I know, by Instagram, TikTok, etc. The Goodreads ratings. So primarily it is going to be books that I look at and I'm like, could I have actually liked that if the circumstances were different? Or if I just push past that one section that I really didn't enjoy. I will not be picking any books that I got rid of like a gorgeous edition from Fairy Loot or Limited or any of the book boxes. So like part of me was tempted to pick Heavenly Bodies, which I know I really didn't like, but a lot of people have been talking about that book. And I sold my copy of it because I really didn't like what I read of that book. I DNF'd it, got rid of it. I am unwilling to retry that one because I would want that Fairy Loot copy. If I end up loving it, I would be devastated and they're very expensive. So it's kind of my rule is if I really love the original book and it's really expensive to get a book that I already sold, I'm not gonna worry about it. For this video, we're gonna be going through 3 books. You're gonna see me actually pick them as I go through, but I already put them on thumbnails, so you already know what they are. But the very first one is Bat Eater. Then we move into On Wings of Blood, which is actually really fun. I tell the whole story about why it's funny. And then we end the video off with One Dark Window. So we will be starting off with Bat Eater. Bat Eater is one of those that I got to a scene and I could go no further. I also just generally wasn't enjoying it at the time. I also had no idea that it was a COVID book, so that kind of hurt me going into the book because I didn't know those things. And now knowing that it's a book that takes place during COVID, now knowing that there is this really disturbing spit scene, and apparently I have a phobia of spit, which I didn't know before the book, like that bad. I didn't know it was that bad. Yes, that scene in Heated Rivalry took me out, okay? One scene I was screaming. I'm really glad I was watching with my friend because I probably would have turned it off. But I'm kind of set up for more success because I know that scene exists, I can skip it, and I know it is taking place during COVID, which was one of my big issues with it just because I'm not ready to read anything from COVID still. Like, it's still not great in my brain. But I've talked to people since. They said it's really not actually that big of a factor after this like first couple of pages, first couple of chapters. And so Bat Eater is actually following our main character, who is a crime scene cleanup person. That is her job. And she does have some sort of OCD, and so you're basically in her head going through the difficulties in life and going through this really hard time where the Asian population was targeted by people because everyone was calling COVID the China virus. And so the hate bred from that and just normal discrimination on top of that extra thing is kind of what she's dealing with in the book. But there's also a murder mystery, gory, supernatural thing also happening. So I'm ready to try it again. Let's see what I think about this book if I actually make it through a second time. I didn't really expect to start the vlog this way. Like, this is actually the first clip that I'm filming for this vlog. Like, obviously there's gonna be an introduction and stuff, but I thought I would like have more to say while reading this book, and I'm going to try to talk more while reading the other books that we're gonna read for this vlog, at least for part 1. But I ended up picking up Bat Eater. As you guys know, I probably introed it that way. I finished Bat Eater in like one setting. I think I pulled it last night, but I don't think I read any of it until this morning. I don't remember. It was a very quick audiobook, and I am glad that I listened to an audiobook because I was trying to think of how I consumed it the first time. I don't remember if it was physically or it was through audiobook, but I definitely think the audio was the way to go for this one. And I feel like the point of the series is to read the book and then read or DNF the book and tell you if I believe that I should have kept it as a DNF or I'm glad that I did end up finishing reading it, because that's kind of what I did in the influencer series, where when I read Butcher and Blackbird, I said, yes, I am glad that I read it. With Not in Love, I'm glad that I read it only because I really wanted to continue in the series with non-problematic summer romance, I think? Yes, problematic summer romance. Otherwise, I could have left it. So Bat Eater. We have finished Bat Eater. I'm giving it a 3-star. I do think I could have left it as a DNF. I don't think that my enjoyment increased any for having read the book. I had a lot of problems with the book still. Not like actual problems, just things that I didn't like. Like, I didn't actually have any problems with the book. I think it was a very well-written book. I think it covered a lot of very serious, interesting topics in a way that I think a lot of people should be reading it. Unfortunately, I think the people who are reading this book aren't necessarily the people who like it's targeted at to have them understand what was going on. I feel like everyone who is reading it got what was going on and was highly against the racism that was occurring during COVID. I think the people who aren't reading it are the people who need the message, which is unfortunate. And I think that was highly noticeable in the 1-star comments. They're kind of vile and disgusting, and it's ironic that the book is really about these people. It is really showing who these people are who are giving the 1-star comments that aren't constructive. Like, if you didn't like the book, you didn't like the book. Give a constructive criticism why you didn't like the book. If you didn't like the book because you are literally a racist, you're a bad person. Because there are a lot of those comments that are like, this is white, anti-white propaganda and all this stuff. And it was like, I don't think you read the book. Like, I don't think you read the book at all, to be honest. And if you did, you definitely missed the point of it, because the 1-star comments are insane on this book, and it's so disappointing, and it's shocking. It's shocking and not shocking at the time, which is incredibly unfortunate. I am glad that some people read this and got angry, because maybe it made them think even for a little second. Probably not if they left comments like that, but at least some terrible people had to read this and maybe had to feel something that they're uncomfortable feeling. But I thought it talked about some great issues that happened. I thought it talked about it in a really interesting way. There were some very funny interactions that happened that I actually wasn't expecting later in the book that I did not get to the first time around. But I still overall didn't enjoy a lot of the things that happened in it. So 5 stars for the social commentary, 5 stars for the writing. It's like a 2 to 3 for the actual storytelling for me. Which, the first part of the book, I think the first time, I don't remember where I made it to. I made it to the spit scene. Wherever that is, I made it to the spit scene. For me, it was like a 2 star. I didn't love the pacing. I don't love being in Cora's head, but I don't think you're supposed to. She definitely, it's not said what she has. It feels very autism, and she's definitely got some real issues with OCD, and so it's not fun. It's not fun being in her head. It's a very uncomfortable, very paranoid inducing place to be, which is not something that I need to like really be in with all the anxiety problems I had in 2025, the depression problems I have. It's not a great place for me to be. So I didn't love being in her head. So the beginning was still about a 2 star, again, mostly for the story, the storytelling of it. Again, love the commentary, just didn't love how it was done. And I think my main issue overall with this book is I am not the type of reader for this book, because I don't love really sad books. I just don't. I like hope in my horror stories. I like more of like an emotional journey, like with multiple people. I don't really love bloodshed in my books. It's very rare that I do. I feel like Library of Hellbore is an exception to that rule, and even then I was a little bit, at the end I was like, oh, did I like this thing that happened? But everything else worked for me in that book. The problem is already a lot of stuff was not working for me when the incredibly sad things happened towards the end of the book. And this whole book was just an insane journey for me. It really was. You can tell by how I'm talking about it. I'm having a hard time talking about it because it was not a bad book. That's why I'm just like struggling with it, because I feel like my star ratings for this book are more emotional responses than actual like legit content. Like, does that make sense? I'm struggling talking about this book. First, to the spit scene, 2 star. To about like the 50% mark, it was about a 2 to 3 star. Then we kind of had a Scooby-Doo gang moment where this mystery was involved in the book, and we had like a found family aspect kind of thing happening. 5 star. 5 star when she was hanging out with those 2 people. Then there was like a really sad thing that happened. That was a 1 star. That was absolutely 1 star for me. I thought that's the only part of the book that I felt was gratuitous and felt like it was just done for shock value and didn't add any content to the actual book. Like, I do think it actually regressed the book a little bit, and it's probably on purpose, but for me, that did not add any value to the book and actually took away value from the book. So that kind of put a giant wrench in it for me, that little section. And then the almost end, the crazy almost end, was a 5-star. And then the end, again, another sad idea kind of thing was presented, and that was also a 1-star. So I was just very up and down with this book because I just don't really love sad books. I just don't. So I do think this is a purely personal reason why this book did not work for me. I still give it a 3-star because of all the things I kind of mentioned. So yeah, it could have stayed a DNF. There is part of me that is kind of glad I finished it because, again, the social commentary was really, really good. But because of those incredibly sad moments that I didn't feel added anything, I do kind of wish that I hadn't read it, because now I'm just like really depressed. Like, I'm just sitting here like, And again, it feels like it didn't add anything. In Library of Hellbore, there's a very sad moment at the end, but it felt necessary to the plot. It feels like the other character, like the main character, could not go on if this sad thing did not happen, and it kind of triggered like other stuff happening in the book. The sad thing that happened, or the 2 sad things that happen, I just don't think it added any value. I don't. And that's what kills me in a lot of books, is sadness for the sake of being sad, if it doesn't feel like there's any added value. So that's kind of my take. I do think I could have left it as a DNF, so I don't feel like it was necessary for me to finish Bat Eater. So moving on, I have a couple of things. I have a couple of debates, because I do actually, I haven't unboxed it yet. But I was sent something around Christmas time from a subscriber, and it's actually really funny. It's really funny. And so I haven't opened it yet because I was debating what to do. I'm a very sentimental person. If you send me something, 99% chances I'm gonna keep it even if I don't like the book. That's just how I am. Very sentimental person. It is the thought that counts more than the actual item, but I attach sentimentality to things. So the fact that somebody sent me something, I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, I still can't believe anytime someone sends me anything. Unfortunately, it is a book that I DNF'd really early on, and it was part of the Romantasy vlog. So that is actually an option, and I'm kind of thinking about it. Like, I'm looking at it, and I kind of want to read that because I think it'll make very interesting commentary, because it's a book that I never would have thought about picking up again, but because I received a copy of it, I'm like, I kind of do want to read it because I'm gonna keep it because it's from a subscriber, and it's a subscriber that, like, I see on my channel a lot. So, like, do I want to read that one? Because the other option that I'm kind of in the mood for is Serpent in the Wings of Night. And that's like a toss-up. Serpent in the Wings of Night I could end up liking, because it was very situational as to why I didn't like Serpent in the Wings of Night, potentially. So we're going to give it its best shot. We're going to physically read it. I'm going to read with my eyeballs, and I'm in the mood for Romantasy. I think the issue with that one was I was doing a purge video. It wasn't the right time to read it, and I listened to it. So that's that situation. For this book that I was gifted, I didn't like the writing and the content like immediately off the bat, but I only read about 10 pages. So there is definitely a possibility that if I just kind of gloss over the writing style, I could like what's in the rest of the book, potentially. But I think either way, I think it's gonna be fun to try that one, even if I don't end up liking it again. Again, it is a sentimentality thing. It's gonna go upstairs in my library as part of like my gifted from subscribers section that I'm gonna have. Oh, those are kind of the two that I'm like really thinking of that are in the forefront of my brain. The other ones are like A River and Shannon. I'm not really in the mood to read that. That's gonna take a lot of brain power. We have One Dark Window. I think that's a really good option, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for that one either. We have Vilest Things, but I would want to reread Immortal Longings, and I don't want to do a reread right now, so that one's definitely off the table. Do we read The Gift? I think we should open up The Gift, and we should read The Gift. I think that'll be really fun to do it in the very first video. Oh, we got this, like, literally, I think it was like 2 days after I posted the Romantasy vlog, and I was like, oh no, I did not update my wish list. So this was, I was cackling while I was reading this, and I felt so bad for the person who got it for me. But again, even if I don't like it, I'm just like so excited. I know that's crazy, but I'm so excited about it. So I was sent a copy of On Wings of Blood. And you guys know why that's funny if you watch that video. So this was from Nikki Morris. Nikki is someone who I see on the channel a lot. Hi Kimberly, I haven't read this book, but I saw it on your list and thought it looked pretty. I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas. And I'm not kidding you, this came like a day or two after that Romantasy vlog. So neither of us had any idea. So part of me was like, maybe I should just return it. And cause like neither of us knew that I wasn't gonna like this book, and I didn't update my list yet. But then I was like, no, this would be really fun to put into content. No, we're gonna attempt to read On Wings of Blood. Even if it's bad, I'm keeping it. And I'm excited to restart it, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm 58% into On Wings of Blood, chapter 29 or page 320, and I don't know how I'm feeling about this one. I really, really don't. It's absolutely nothing like what I was expecting. So when I originally read this book, I read the first 2 to 3 chapters, and it was not my vibe. It was not my vibe at all. I did not like the interactions of the characters. It felt very sexually motivated already at the beginning, where we're finding her naked on a pile of bodies and everyone's watching her, and it's really weird. Like, it's just a really weird way to open up a book. And it just wasn't working for me. Like, I already felt kind of icky about the book. I immediately did not like who I thought the romance was going to be. I just had bad vibes when I started this book. And because I had already read literally so many romantasy books, I think it was also like coming down to fatigue in romantasy. So immediately when it did not click with me, I kind of just was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. I don't think I'm gonna like this. The writing is bad. That was the other thing. The writing was really bad. So not only did I not like the writing whatsoever, I did not like the setup of the book. So that is why I DNF'd the book. Now, having made it significantly farther, obviously, I was hoping to actually finish the book tonight, but I don't think that's happening. I'll probably finish it tomorrow, depending. I don't even know what time it is. I've just been watching football all day and reading this. So I have no idea. I have no concept of time today. Having read further in this book, I will admit it is significantly different than I thought it was going to be. I don't think the setup of this book, the vibe of it, makes any sense whatsoever for the rest of the book. Like, 100%. I don't know why the beginning of the book is like this. It could have been done a million different ways that would have been significantly better and felt more like the rest of the book. The beginning just does not feel like this book. Like, I'm so confused. And it's a really weird juxtaposition between the beginning and the rest of the book, because, to be honest, the beginning of the book felt very adult. Like, immediately went very sexual. The characters felt older, like significantly older, like young 30s to older 20s is how they felt immediately. The second we step into the actual academy, because the whole point of this is it happens in an academy. I never got to that point when I first read the book, but the whole point is we're at Bloodwing Academy, and the second we step foot in Bloodwing Academy, every single person de-ages by 10 years. I am not kidding you. It is such a strange, jarring change from the beginning of the book to the second we step into the school. It took me a second to adjust, because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, how this book opened makes no sense for the rest of the book. It's just the vibes are so weird. And so I immediately don't love that. I see why I DNF'd it. I chose to push past it. I am glad I pushed past it, because I do think the rest of the book is definitely more my vibe, but it's so weird. Like, I feel like a editor should have read the beginning of the book and then continued in the book and been like, oh yeah, the vibes, they don't make much sense. Like, actively, the beginning of this book with the rest of this book doesn't make a lot of sense, like, at all. The vibes are so different. To me, at least. Obviously, someone could read this and think completely differently, but I just don't think the setup of this book is remotely in line with the rest of it. It just doesn't make sense to me. So that is a big issue I'm having with this book already. I am generally enjoying my time reading it. It is, I mean, every generic fantasy thing ever. I mean, there's dragons that are supposedly extinct. We have a super chosen one situation. We have vampires. We have a nerdy core friend group who are not like everybody else, so that's who she's friends with. We have the bad boy main character who's actually has a heart of gold, and it's just like, it's every single trope imaginable, like, stuffed into this book. And it doesn't do anything really interesting, to be honest. It is entertaining to read because it has all of the makings of every fantasy book that I've ever read that I've enjoyed. The problem is it's just not done very well. Like, it really just isn't. So I'm having a good time, but I don't actually think this is a very good book. And this is just one of those, it feels like TikTok fodder. It really does. There are some of those books out there that do feel like they were specifically made, they were specifically written for TikTok. And this one feels like one of those, unfortunately. So there's just not a lot of substance to this book. So that being said, let me actually tell you what the book is about. But it's following your main character, Medra, who is from, this is the coolest part, is from a different world, and something happened and she was transported to this one. That is the coolest part about this book. But it's not, like, it's not explained. I'm assuming it's going to be explained later. I feel like that's where the book series would get interesting, is if we go back to where she's from or talk more about that. But being in this vampire world, it's just not very interesting here. Honestly, nothing has happened in this book. Like, legitimately nothing has happened. But she has been brought over here, and because of how she looks, she is not like everybody else in this world. She's different because she's of a different race from her world. And so no one in this world knows what she is, but there's like a similarity between her and dragon riders, which are extinct. So she basically is captured and lauded as potentially having dragon rider blood, and she is thrown into this Bloodwing Academy to study and become one of them, which again, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense. Like, I think it's so weird. Like, it's just so strange, because we've put our main character who actively doesn't want to be here, and we've thrown her into the school, and she's just like taking classes and going along with it. But she has like this like crazy backstory that is insane, that she's just walking around taking classes. Like, it's so jarring. It's so jarring anytime we talk about her backstory and then go, oh, and we're at the introduction to magical history. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, this is so strange. I feel like the backstory of this book, of our main character, does not fit with an academy. I feel like our author just really wanted to write an academy book because they do really well. I mean, they sell well, they're interesting. I love an academy book, but it just feels like she took Crave. This feels like Crave. If you've read Crave, you've probably read a lot of the vibes from this. It is so similar to Crave in a lot of aspects. So if you take Crave and mix it with Fourth Wing, with the dragons and the dragon riding and the weird powers and the mind reading, it's just mash those two together. I mean, seriously, it's just those two books shoved together, which should be good. But the problem is the writing is really bad. So again, we'll get to that in a second. I got super distracted. I was telling you what it was about. But yeah, she's thrown into the school and she has to learn alongside all these people. And obviously there's like a forced proximity situation with the romance in this book. And that's pretty much all I can say. Otherwise, there'll be spoilers. The writing is awful. It's really not good. Like, I've definitely read worse. I've read worse, which is why I am still reading this, because I've read worse and I have stopped reading because of worse writing. However, everything is spoon-fed to you. It's so painful sometimes. Some of the characters feel like caricatures. They don't feel like real characters. Situations are spoon-fed to you. The people, like, characters' emotions are spoon-fed to you. Like, there's no extrapolating of information here. You're just fed everything. You're not allowed to use your brain in this book. And then probably the most egregious thing is the info dumping and how painfully obvious the info dumping is. So she knows nothing about this world. So she'll walk up to someone and go, ooh, I was just told about this. Please tell me everything you know about this subject. Literally, like, word for word, she will say that. And then a character goes, oh, I know everything about this thing, so let me tell you about it. And then it's pages of information. And I'm just like, this does not feel natural. Like, this is not natural storytelling. This is, I need to tell you a bunch of backstory and I don't know how to do it. So here, the character is clueless. So I'm gonna info dump to her as if I'm info dumping to you. And so it's just kind of painful. It's just kind of painful reading those sections, and it loses you because you're not getting the information natural way to the character. It literally feels like an AI bot telling you information. Like you go on to Google and you're like, Google, tell me about everything you know about World War II, and a list of things just pops up. And that's what this feels like. It feels like I'm reading a Google Wikipedia article on some of these things. That's what it feels like, a Wikipedia article sometimes. And it's just unpleasant to read those sections. So what's keeping me interested is her backstory. I do like her backstory. I don't like her as a character either. I forgot to mention that. She is really annoying. She makes really dumb decisions. She's really annoying. She really makes dumb decisions. Like bringing some of her friends who obviously should not be in certain situations. She's like, oh, this is fine. This is fine. Let's go over here. And then she gets there and she's like, oh, should have thought about this. And it's like, yeah, girly, you should have thought about this. So she's just really obnoxious. I do like the male love interest, even though he is unrecognizable from the first chapter. To me, he is unrecognizable. Like totally different type of character from the first book. Oh, smashing Harry Potter in there too. We've got 4 houses who are fighting each other, and powerful houses. It's just, and you're kind of like sorted into them based on family relationships. So it is different, but there's something very, and you're taking magical classes. It's just, again, smash Harry Potter, Fourth Wing, and Crave all together. That's what this book is. Train of thought is just all over the place right now. So it's just not done well. I think there's a lot of good stuff that this book is doing, but it's just not doing it in a very good way. So I do like the setup, but unfortunately we don't know anything about the world. So like, I can't be that invested in the world because I don't understand it, but it's because our main character doesn't understand it, so we don't understand it. But I don't love that, especially because we're getting Blake's point of view now later in the book, which I actually am liking. I do think that has added a layer of complexity to this book, and it is written a little bit better in his point of view. So I do appreciate that. And like the section we just had was really cool. So like when there's certain magic things happening, it's really good. But the rest of the book is just like, it doesn't seem like it knows what it wants to do. It seems like it's just trying to focus definitely primarily on the romance, and I do think that's where it's falling short because there is no plot. Like we have not been given a plot yet. And I am, like I said, 300 pages into this book, we don't have a plot. So what am I supposed to be looking towards? Like, I don't know what the plot is in this book. So I am still reading it. I don't see it getting above a 3. But I am weirdly addicted to this book. Like I don't know what's happening. But it's kind of like my reading. No, because I liked Silverly. I didn't think Silverly was that bad. This I actively can see is a bad book, but it is very addicting because of how it's written. It's like the Crave series. Again, it is so much like the Crave series is not written well. It is arguably not a very good book. The whole series are not good books, but they're like wildly addicting. And this is the same way. This is wildly addicting for no reason. So I'm gonna continue reading it. I'm glad I'm having a really good time. It's not actually good. You're gonna have a lot of weird ambiance in the background. I don't know what it is with the noises in the morning. There's always some like we're out back in the woods, but there's always some weird construction over there. Don't know where the construction is. And then my neighbor, my neighbor, has this little he's obsessed with his yard. He has this little mole preventive thing. He's obsessed apparently with the moles that live underground. But he has this thing that emits this really annoying high-pitched sound. I can't sit out front at all. Can't sit out front unless I have headphones on because it makes this awful noise. And it's just this high pitched noise that it's a nightmare. So I come out here when it's not on, but it's random when it's on, and it's solar powered. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have imagined just walking over there and ripping it out of the ground because it's so annoying. But I come out here with headphones, or I just go sit on the back porch. But I like our front porch a lot, which is really sad that I can't be out here because of how annoying that thing is. And I don't like just sitting and wearing headphones all the time. So super side tangent. But yeah, you're gonna hear potentially a lot of noises in the background. The birds are also out, which is crazy. I haven't heard them, I feel like, in a really long time. But anyway, what I'm actually here for is the update for On Wings of Blood. I have finished this book. I actually finished it about See what I mean? Oh, that's a... What is that? Sounds like a chainsaw. What is happening? We're just gonna... I can't. It's so loud. I can't. Okay, there we go. It stopped. I don't know what that is. Finished on Wings of Blood like 10 minutes ago. Like 10 minutes ago. And I'm gonna give it 2 stars. 2 stars. And obviously the question of the series, am I glad that I tried rereading it? Maybe. This is a complicated one. Maybe. Because I do think the rest of the series could potentially be really good. But I don't think this one was very good. Again, the writing was not very good. The plotting was not very good. Medra, our main character, turned out to be really annoying. Like, she got really, really annoying towards the end of the book. We ended in a way that was odd. And I'm a little, like, it ended how it began. So if you've read the first chapter, like the prologue, that's how the book ends. And I don't know if I can deal with this person being the main love interest after that scene, to be honest. It's one of those situations where it's like, no, this actually was too bad to get over. It actually was a thing that I don't think I could actually get over as a person, and I don't like it. And there is a character that I want our main character with that's in this book. So I'm kind of hoping for like an ACOTAR situation. That's kind of my hope. It's got to be at the school. They've got to be doing construction at the school. Because that's a wild sound. Oh, so maybe someone's cutting trees. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like we live in a very forested area. We had to cut a tree ourselves. Like we spent like, actually I didn't do anything. My husband and his friend from work came and cut. A tree fell over last year. You can actually hear it in one of my videos. It's crazy. Tree fell down one night and they had to come and use a chainsaw and cut it up and get rid of the pieces. So I'm wondering if that's what it is, because that's kind of what it sounds like, and that it would be that loud because it was really loud. Yeah, you'll just have to kind of deal with it. Okay, it stopped. But anyway, Medra became unbearable. Oh, it's a tree. I just heard it fall. Very loud. So that definitely was what happened that night, was that falling. So someone's cutting trees down. Probably one died and they're trying to get it down while everything's barren and stuff. It's easier right now. This is the worst timing. I was like, let me go film a clip outside. This is gonna be so much fun. I don't know how loud it's gonna be. I'm gonna laugh the whole time if you cannot hear it, or I'm gonna laugh if it's like super loud. I'm gonna have to figure out how to mute it a little bit, because it's just gonna keep going, but I don't want to move. Like, we're just gonna finish it. If it's that bad, I will refilm this. But yeah, so I don't think I can handle the rest of the series with this main love interest, just because of the thing that happened. I also think the end, oh, hi Taz, he's back. I also think the end is like really weird. It's really strange. There was like a really sad thing that supposedly happened, but it was such a weird, like, sudden thing, and it was very strange how it was done, that I was like, I feel like I would have been sad if there was more surrounding what happened to this character. But it was just like, oh, here you go. Here's the thing. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like how this was done. So in my opinion, an emotional death was ruined in this book. It did not end up being emotional. I feel no way about it, even though I liked the character. So I'm sad about that. And then the end, I kind of liked. I think it's an interesting setup. Not the thing between Medra and the love interest, but between Medra and like the actual ending. I was like, oh, kind of like this. And I do think it is setting up what I think is going to happen with the romance, at least what I'm hoping is going to happen, because it happens to be the house. Also, it was very, very Harry Potter feeling at the end. And I am curious if the ending was written a different way and it felt too Harry Potter. What is happening? I really hope you guys can hear this, like just at least a little bit. I wonder if oh, I bet it's a wood chipper. It's a wood chipper. We're wood chippering now. Okay, got it. I got it. I love like figuring out what these sounds are. Wood chippers are also loud. We had to cut part of stuff down at my old house, a part of a tree, and they had brought a wood chipper in to do it. So anyway, I'm really curious if the first draft felt like Harry Potter, and then they changed it so it felt less like that. Because again, the house colors, it was killing me. I was cracking up. So I am going to read the next book, and that's why I'm saying a maybe. It's a maybe because if the next books do what I want them to do, I think they could be really good. So we're gonna, fingers crossed that the rest of the series is good. And I do plan to read it because I am curious where this is going, because it left off on kind of a crazy cliffhanger. So I may start that today, but I do need to pick another book for this video and see what our last book is going to be, because I think 3 books is probably good for this, because it's a lot of rereading. So it's a lot of, not rereading, yeah, it's a lot of rereading because I reread Bat Eater, a lot of Bat Eater. I think One Dark Window might be a good option. I'm probably gonna read something else. I gotta finish the Women in Cabin 11, no, Women Suite 11. I gotta finish that first. So I think after I read that, I might switch to One Dark Window, which is a complete reread, but I don't remember a lot of anything that happens in that book. I did reread like the first 2 chapters, and I'm already like, I'm not super impressed with it already, which is unfortunate. So we'll see how that goes. Don't have like the highest hopes for that, but I'm gonna try it because I did love Night in the Moth. So I'm hoping there's something there. Oh my god, yeah, we gotta end this clip because the chainsawing is insane. This is gonna be the weirdest, most annoying clip probably to edit. So anyway, finished on Wings of Blood. I'm gonna give it a 2-star. I originally actually had it as a 2.5 until the ending. Again, the romance really killed me with this book on top of everything else. So I finished on Wings of Blood. We're gonna move on to something, potentially One Dark Window, but we'll see. I'm gonna go look at my list. There could be other things on there that I'm more interested in. I officially started the last book for this specific vlog. I think I'm gonna stick to just 3. I feel like my recent vlogs have gotten a bit out of control with how many books I've tried to shove into them, and I think that's part of the DNFing problem. Is when I DNF stuff, I feel like I have to make up for it with volume versus me actually finishing the books, and I feel like I need to stop doing that. But for this one, I've read 2 books. I will be reading this one. I don't know if I'm going to DNF this one yet. I'm only 30% in. I am reading One Dark Window. But I think we just don't need another one. Like, we already talked about Bat Eater. We already talked about On Wings of Blood. I feel like one more is fine. I feel like I get really stressed about whether I have enough in videos. Like, it's like, okay, are they gonna like anything in these videos? If I throw more books in, there's more opportunity for people to be interested in the book that I'm talking about. Just one of those creator things that when you're making something, you're like, is this good enough? So this one just feels very relaxed and chill, and it's making my brain feel weird. Like, it's very organized. And I think because I've been doing the book box videos, and I just did the Everand thing that was super chaotic, my brain is like, if it's not chaotic, something's wrong. But this is like how I want my structure of these videos to go. It's very relaxed. So anyway, like I said, I am reading One Dark Window. The great snow is about to hit us starting, I think, tomorrow. Today is Friday. The forecast is just the snow will start tomorrow. We're gonna see because I don't really trust it. It generally never is actual snow or ice. Although every time they've called for it so far, ever since we moved here, we've gotten a ton of snow. Like, you saw it in some of my vlogs if you watched all of them. Yeah, so I'm kind of like preparing. I got plenty of books. I probably will finish it this snowstorm because I read 30% basically yesterday. Like, I flew through it, and I'm having mixed feelings in it, mostly because of my expectations. So if you don't know anything about One Dark Window, it is following our main character Elspeth, who lives in a world where it's kind of, the magic is like tarot cards almost. They're not really tarot cards, but it's a deck of cards, and the deck of cards is created by this magical being, and there are like sets of cards depending on what they are. So our important card is the Nightmare card. That is a card that she is directly in tune with, and she actually has the nightmare in her head. This isn't a spoiler, this is just, it's introduced like on page 1. She has this nightmare thing talking to her head. It's also important to know there's a nightmare thing because I'm gonna talk about why I didn't like the book and what I'm hoping for in my expectations this time around. So in this kingdom, if you get this illness as a child or any time in your life, you're actually taken away and killed. And she actually contracted the illness when she was a child, and supposedly the illness gives you magical abilities and it creates a wasting in the body with this magic in you. Like I said, she contracted the illness, but she is not noticing any signs of wasting, and she's now like 20 years old, and she has like a very contentious family dynamic. I won't talk about that because that might be a little bit of a spoiler, but it's all about her dealing with the voice in her head, dealing with the fact that she has this illness and she's hiding it from everybody, and then she ends up getting roped into this plot regarding the evidence cards. That's kind of the gist without giving anything away. The reason I did not like the book the first time, because I gave it a 3, but it was probably closer to like 2.5. I really did not have a good time with the book, but that was back when I was much more generous with my ratings, when I felt bad giving bad ratings unless I really hated it. So I just gave it a generic 3, sold my Fairy Loot copy, which didn't really like. It was back when Fairy Loot wasn't doing like a ton of extra things. I didn't really mind selling it because it was basically just a basic book. First of all, I was confused about the nightmare. The nightmare, and I think I must have just did a reread or something of Shadow and Bone. I pictured the nightmare, even though it was told to us that it was like an animal creature thing. It was told us that. My brain turned it into a hot dude. I was positive that her romance was supposed to be this nightmare. 100% positive. So that really ruined the opening of the book, because I was sitting there going, she's gonna be with the nightmare that's in her head. No, like literally upon a reread, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, what was I actively thinking? Like, this isn't even close to, like, no. So now I'm picturing it as more like a shadow pet. I want to say it does look human later, which is probably what part of the problem was. But right now, it's like a shadow pet. My other big problem is I don't like the romantic interest. I also thought it was gonna be an ACOTAR situation where we were given one romance and it was actually gonna be a different character, because there is another character that shows up that I like significantly better, and it's actually the main MMC. It's the MMC. I love how I said main MMC, as that didn't mean main male character. The MMC in Two Tits of Crowns, which I haven't read yet, is the guy I thought Elspeth was gonna be with. So that was the other problem. So now that I know that is definitely not fact, I can focus on what the real romance is and try to like that romance better than I did. I can already see a couple of red flags 30% in about the insta-loveness of it, because I didn't love how their romance was set up, which made me not like the rest of the book. I don't remember most of the rest of the book except for the romance. So that is definitely what my brain locked onto, and was like, I don't like this, so I don't want to like the rest of the book. So we're gonna try to change that, because I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the plot. The writing I do think is not as good as Night and the Moth. I can definitely see a maturity in the writing between the two books, which is really cool. I'm still loving the world building. I'm liking the characters so far. So I am hesitantly optimistic. There's like 1,000 people around me, so I'm gonna be really suspect in this video. We're at Walmart right now. Lucas is inside. We had to take Taz with us. I am at 80% of One Dark Window. I figured I would give an update before I finished, and I'm liking it. I am liking it so much more than the first time, and I think it's because I know who to root for and what's happening. So I didn't remember much of this plot. The plot is fantastic. I love the plot. I feel like this is definitely a situation, this is why I wanted to do this series. I feel like this is definitely a situation of my brain got so distracted because my brain believed that there was going to be 2 other romances in the book, like that the main romance was not actually the romance. So my brain got so distracted by not loving the romance, because I still don't love the romance. I think too much damage was done on my first reread, but I do like it better. I'm just kind of like, yeah, the romance is fine. Unlike before when it was like, I hate the romance. But I think my brain was so distracted with the romance in the first book that it like wasn't focused on the plot. So this read through, I've kind of let the romance go into the background, and I have focused on the plot and the other characters, and I'm really enjoying it. It's not a 5-star, like I said. The romance also has to be there for it to be a 5-star. Everything has to be there to be a 5-star. And I was still, the romance is just fine. I still am not the biggest fan, but I like all the characters more this time around, and I love the plot. Like, I was so excited that this actually turned out to be really good. So I'm at 80%. We're moving into the end. I think the reveals, again, now that I'm not focused on the romance, the reveals were a lot better this time around, even though I kind of knew stuff was coming. I felt everything so much more than I did the first time. So I'm really excited. So we're gonna finish it soon. Like I said, we're at Walmart. Lucas is grabbing some weather stuff, like some extra little things that we kind of forgot to get. Everybody and their brother is here. So finishing that hopefully soon. I'll let you know my final thoughts, and then we'll kind of talk about how this video went. What a time to be alive. The grocery stores are empty. There's an ice and snowstorm that's about to hit in like an hour. And I love One Dark Window. What do you mean? What do you mean? I had the best time reading this. It did take me a little bit to get into it. I kind of talked about it. Ooh, this looks a little sideways. It took me a little bit to get into it. I was not feeling the beginning of it immediately. However, yeah, it was the circumstances of when I read it the last time. And this is why I wanted to do this series, because I have been hearing non-stop amazing things about this book. And then I loved The Night and the Moth. It made absolutely no sense to me why I wouldn't love this book. Didn't understand. Or it really did seem to be my brain being confused and thinking the romance was supposed to be a different romance and being disappointed that it wasn't that one, and then being so distracted by two different male characters that I thought were supposed to be the romance instead of the actual romance that I legitimately did not focus on anything else in the book. So that being said, I'm giving this a 4.5. It's still not a 5. The romance still was not my favorite. Again, it's either still trauma from the first time I read it, or I legitimately just didn't feel like the most chemistry with these two characters. However, I still did like it. Like, I liked the romance significantly more this time, and I actually did feel like it was way less insta-lovey. I still feel like it was there. I still feel like pretty much any book that isn't like 500-600 pages long, if the characters say I love you by the end of the book, I'm generally gonna have some problems with it because I just don't feel like there's enough lead up. If it's a standalone book, I generally am a little more lenient, but this is not a standalone. Like, they had time, but I do know that the second book is following Elm, I believe, and Ione, or however you say her name, which I'm actually really excited about. Basically finished this book, loved the ending. I thought it was fantastic. I love where we left off. I just felt so much more emotion this time reading it because I wasn't distracted by the super weird things that were happening. And my brain like felt it. Like, I was so excited to read this and feel what everybody else was feeling while reading this book. So I'm so excited that this ended up working out perfectly. And so this was the goal of these videos. Like, this was what I wanted. We went from like a 2.5, 3 to a 4.5 stars. Potentially, if I read it the first time this way, it could have been a 5-star. I don't know if anything that I reread and I didn't love will ever be a 5-star. This potentially is like the closest, but I'm so excited that I reread this book. It feels like I read it almost for the first time. I'm really excited to actually continue the series, which is what I'm gonna do next. Like, I have a mood reading vlog that I'm working on at the same time as this. I am gonna read Two Twisted Crowns. In that video, literally right now, like after I stop, I'm gonna film an update for that video and then go read Two Twisted Crowns. If you wanna see my reaction to Two Twisted Crowns, you need to check out the mood reading video that will come out in like a week or two after this one. Yeah, this went really well, right? I feel like this video went great. So first we started off with Bat Eater. I DNF'd it the first time, so the fact that I finished it and gave it 3 stars, I feel like is a glowing recommendation. I feel like that's really, really good. I am glad I finished that book, but I don't think it added anything. Like, if I had never picked that one back up again, I may have wondered if I would have liked it if I reread it, but I don't think reading it really added to my like enjoyment that much. I think if I'd finished it the first time, it probably would have been 3 stars as well. So that one probably didn't need to pick up, didn't add anything. Wings of Blood. This is the complicated one because it was an addicting read. I read it so quickly. I was addicted to everything that was happening. Do I think it's a good book? No. I'm giving it, what did I give it? A 2.5? I'm gonna bring it up to a 3 just because of my enjoyment value of the book. I think it needed a lot of TLC from editors and the writing process. I do think it was significantly rushed to get out to market and to get out to people. I actually just watched, oh man, I don't remember her channel. I'm gonna put her handle like right here so you can go check it out. But one of the creators that I watched just did a video about talking about the editing process, and she said that she talked to somebody or was emailed or something, like message or something DM'd by an author who told her that it's not really the editor's fault, it's actually like the publishing house, and the publishing house isn't allowing for editors to take their time with these manuscripts anymore. And that's kind of like what this felt like, is it's like, ooh, because I think this was indie published first, and then I think it was picked up for traditional publishing, so it does feel rushed, because I am much more likely to forgive indie published things because you don't have like an intense editing team that is supposed to be working on this, and that they have a giant powerhouse publisher behind them to make sure everything is legit. This feels like it was picked up, perused over maybe, and then shipped out as is. And that shouldn't be happening. And that's my biggest problem with this, because On Wings of Blood could have been amazing. Just like just so many errors, like so many weird things happen in the book. And again, it just wasn't written very well, but it was addicting. So I get it. I do think I'm gonna have problems with the romance in that series, but we're gonna see how that goes. I'm not gonna fault this one for that. I'm gonna hope that the romance shifts to somebody else. Fingers crossed. If it doesn't, I don't know how I'm gonna love the rest of the series, but I am glad that I read that one, and I am gonna move it up to a 3. And then, like I just said, we just finished One Dark Window, which is definitely, yes, I'm so happy I reread it, especially because now I'm gonna move on to the second book, 4.5. I'm so excited that it went as well as it did. I don't think we could have asked for that going any, I don't think we could have asked this video really to go any better. Like, I was expecting a DNF from something or a low rating from something, but pretty much everything was, yeah, like, I enjoyed my time, because even with Bat Eater, even though it's like, I could have taken or leave this one, I still enjoyed my time reading sections of it. But I think this went great. We're gonna continue with this video concept. That being said, that brings us to the end of this video. Basically, if you want a continuation of this video with sequels, you're gonna need to check out that mood reading vlog. I'm really excited to be doing that one as well. I'm having a really good time with that one so far too, so I'm so happy that I've switched over to enjoying books a lot more after the first 2 vlogs of this year. Like, those were bad. I'm hoping for good things from the next couple vlogs that we do. I want some positive vlogs. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to miss any future content. Definitely in the comments down below, let me know what you thought about the video, what you thought about the books, or any books that you want to reread. Made it to the end of this video. Leave a One Dark Window is like our favorite. Leave like a wolf emoji, because for some reason in my head I pictured the creature thing, the nightmare, as a wolf. So leave a wolf emoji, or dog, whatever's close enough in the emojis. But yeah, that is everything I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.